Hi everyone, welcome to DURGASOFT and welcome to the AWS training. So I just want to know how many of you are new to the session? Is everyone is a new student who is joining the session? Is there anybody who is coming from the old batch? Okay. So I'm getting some responses. I just want the response from all. Narayana B, and have attended the last session. Okay.
Yeah, yes, I have attended one session.
Okay,
Very
fine.
first one, yeah.
Okay. So I'm sure I thought I'm new. Okay, that's fine. And what about the Kaveri? I'm new. Okay, that's fine. So what are your expectations towards AWS? Why? Because actually we have completed one of the session. Actually, two sessions are done, but I don't know. There are some new candidates in the batch. I just want to repeat the small. I just want to give a small glimpse about the last sessions, and I will dive back into the concept of what we are going through. So I just want to know, what did you know about the cloud computing? What did you understand from AWS and AWS perspective? Or else cloud perspective, what is meant by AWS? And in your perspective, what is meant by cloud? Can anybody define that? New to cloud computing. Okay. So no problem. If you are very new to the cloud computing, that's fine. And anybody who are in the IT, who are coming from the IT background and who are working employees, are there? Is there anybody working in any IT firm, or else anybody are having the development background? So.
Hi, sir. Actually, I'm a middleware admin.
What are your roles and responsibilities actually, Narayana?
Deploying the applications on middleware servers, JAVAs, WebLogic, Tomcat, and Apache, and restarting the servers, working on the ticketing system, troubleshooting issues based on the requirement.
That's fine. So this is about your middleware. So actually, the thing here is what happens in the background. So when you go to actually purely AWS is into infrastructure related concepts. So if I have to show you the diagram, so let's see what is the image. What if you understand this image, then that will be very helpful for you to understand the entire concept of AWS. What AWS will provide you, what are the different services that AWS will provide you, and further you will understand what are the concepts, which concepts are related to AWS, what we are going to learn in AWS. So what I will do here is AWS service models. I will go to AWS service model. If you see here, everybody will say this, but you need to understand this perspective. This will be good, or else we can go with this diagram also. So if you can understand this, that will be very helpful for you to understand what we learn in the AWS. See here, you are showing some image and we are unable to understand this image. So before you understand this, what is this? You need to have a brief understanding about what is meant by cloud. Why? What is the necessity of going into the cloud? And you need to understand this on-premises also. Here it is showing that on-premises. What is this on-premises? And what are these different steps? Here you can see networking, storage, servers, virtualization, OS, middleware, runtime, data, and application. These are all coming in between, right? So what are this? What is our requirement? What we are going to do with this? And what is meant by on-premises? First of all, you need to understand. If you understand this and you can come across all these remaining services, that will make you understand what is meant by cloud. If you understand this on-premises, and then if you go through the cloud computing, what is meant by cloud computing? So whatever the services that are provided by the cloud, these services will explain you about what will cloud provide for you. So what are the things that cloud provides for you? So you will have a clear-cut understanding about that. So now before you go into this IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS, let me explain you what is meant by on-premises. Now, Did anybody have any idea about on-premises except who are working? So who else are there from the new people who are the new candidates in the class? Did anybody know about this on-premises? What is meant by on-prem? Okay.
So when
Mhm.
so when the organization decides to have all the infrastructure, platform, and software at their end itself.
Exactly. On-premises. What is meant by on-premises in the sense? The name itself indicating that premises. Premises means where we work. So the offices or else the companies are physically where we create our servers, physically where we access the servers, where we interact with the servers, that will comes under the on-premises. Now, what is meant by on-premises? For example, there is an IT service company. So here you need to understand one thing. You will have a IT service company in the center of the city. You will have an IT service company. I am talking about the MNCs. I am not talking about the small industries, small IT companies, startup companies. Why? Because startup companies nowadays won't have the server rooms. Previously, we used to have the server rooms, but now when the cloud was came into the picture, we are unable to see the server rooms in the small companies or else startup companies. I am just talking about the MNCs. For example, I used to work for an MNC company, but right now I am completely into training. But anyways, when I used to work for this MNC company, what is happening here? The company will be in the center of the city. Wherever I'm working, the company will be in the center of the city. And inside this company, I used to have some 12 to 13 floors. The company will be, the entire company is expanded around 12 to 13 floors. And we will have only customer relations like BPO sectors, and we will have server management like administration, and we will have HR management. These are the departments we will have in those 13 floors of building. Now, when you see, we are unable to see at least one single server in that building, but it is an IT service company. Now, what happens here? All the servers are located or created in a data center, which is very far away from my company. So it is at the right corner of, or else it is at the corner of the city. So if I have to reach to the servers, I need to travel around 30 kilometers to reach to the data center. I worked as a system administrator anyways. So what is going to happen? So this is what I call it as an on-premises. On-premises means whatever the company related servers, whatever you see here, this company will be hosting their application. Hosting means creating their application and making that application available for the user. What is meant by hosting? Hosting in the sense making the application available for the users is called as hosting. Okay. Now, who will ask the companies to host the application? So actually, you know about this. There are so many different types of clients will be available for the each and every IT company. You will hear these words called as clients, projects. Yes or no? You will hear clients, projects. Okay. So some companies will say that we don't have projects, so that is the reason why we are terminating 50% of our employees. Why we are terminating some. If you see our Accenture has terminated around 11,000 employees this year. So why we don't find any projects in our company, and the employees are not worthy to have to be in this organization. Some of the employees are not worthy. Some may be creating their fake experience and coming into the organization. These are all the responsible. These are all the things that made them terminate the employees. But anyways, the major problem, the major issue here is projects. What is meant by a project? So project in the sense, if you see in the entire business models, there are actually two types of companies will be there. One is IT company and the next one is non-IT company. So this non-IT company doesn't have the professionals, doesn't have the workers or else employees who will be working with the applications, who will be developing the application, who will be creating the servers. They don't have the employees. Simply, if I have to give an example, non-IT companies are nothing but your banks, what I can say, hospitals, okay, small malls, okay, shopping malls, everything will comes under the non-IT companies. And government sector, some of the government sectors, what I can say, services will also comes under the non-IT service companies. Now, what they will do, they will interact, or else they will send some projects to the IT service company requesting an application to be developed. So this bank, whatever the bank that you are seeing, major share of this IT service companies will be completely relying on the banks only. So my friend is working for a project. So actually, I have to tell this. My friend is working for a project, and he is not working for the banking projects of India. He is working from some US and UK clients. Okay, so each and every project which they get are all the bank projects from all around the world. So I asked them, so why you are working every time on the bank projects only? Because they say, and he answered me that whatever the project that I got, that our company gets, that's completely related to banks. So banks are more reliant on the IT sectors. Why? Because each and everywhere you can see that digitalization is happening. So that's the reason the majority shares or else majority projects what you are getting will be from the banks, hospitals, and wherever the digitalization is implemented, from those services you are going to get the projects. When you get the projects, first of all, what happens here? The IT service company, when you get the project, first the IT service company will develop the application. After developing this application, what they are going to do? So after completing of that application, so in the development phase, what they are going to do? There will be multiple phases. One is building the application. So there will be one phase where they will build the application and test the application on the development servers. And after building, what is going to happen? They will test. The second phase is they will test the application. So here you can say this is the building phase. After the building phase, what they are going to do? They are going to test the application. Okay, app test. Once the app testing is done, if the results are everything is positive and they are very good, so the testing team is giving a certificate that this application is good. We cannot find any bug, so you can go for the production environment, which means that, so whenever you see the application is directly not created in the production, in the sense, it will not directly available for the customer. First of all, the application has to be developed. And after developing the application need to be tested. So once the testing is done, then what is going to happen? Here, as I said, this is your data center. Inside the data center, inside this data center, we will have multiple servers. We don't have a single physical server or single, single networking component. We will have some thousands and thousands of servers will be there, or we can have some hundreds of servers which are related to this IT service company. For example, this company is somewhere like very popular, Infosys is the company name. So now what this company people will do, they will forward the project. Once the application building and testing is done, and bugs are there, not there, and every bug fixing is done, then they will forward the project into this servers. So they will make the project alive, which means they are going to deploy in the production environment. So when they want to deploy this into the production environment, so inside the data center, you will have multiple servers. So this data center is very big facility. It's a very big facility where you can have some thousands of servers or hundreds of servers, physical servers I'm talking. And into this physical servers, first of all, we will go through only physical servers, and later on we will go with the virtualization also. So what is happening here? Whatever the application that they develop, this application will be deployed into the server. So this is the application which is deployed into the server. And when they deploy this application through network, through internet or through network, what they are going to do? They will make this application available for the end user. They will make the application available for the end user, nothing but the clients. So the best example is any website that you are accessing, that website will be hosted on a particular server. So for example, I am trying to access some hdfcbank.com. So this application will be made connected through networking. This application will be available on the internet. Okay. So, and from the internet, the application will be available, accessible by the multiple users. Okay, so this is what going to happen. So these are all the clients who are accessing that application. So this will be available for the multiple users like this. So who are this? Nothing but the clients. So whenever I type, if I go back to my Chrome browser, and here what I will do, www. www.hdfcbank.com. When I give this URL, automatically I am going to get the interface of the HDFC bank. So actually, in general, you need to understand this is the login page which we are getting that is hosted on the server. So if you see here, before cloud, I am talking before cloud or else on the on-premises, what is happening? And when the cloud was introduced, Docker was introduced, Kubernetes, microservices, there are so many in-depth concepts out there, but I am not touching them. So I am going through the basics. So what is happening? So when this application is hosted on the server, when the application is hosted on the server, that application will be available for the client user. When the client is typing some URL and trying to fetch the application, the URL will be reached to the internet. The URL will be reached to the internet, and from the internet it will be reached to the application, and the application will be sent back to the user. So this is what happening in the IT service company. So this is what I can call it as a software development lifecycle, and later on enhancements will be done. But here you need to understand. So if I have to discuss about DevOps and Kubernetes, there I can go in depth into the software development lifecycle. But we are into the cloud computing only. So here, now if you see here, the data center, whatever the servers that you have created, who has to manage them? Whatever the servers, here you have created some servers. So when you create the servers, or else when you install the servers, first of all, you need to send an application to the vendor. You need to send an application to the vendor. Vendor in the sense who is selling the servers, he is called as a vendor. Now, what are the brands that you know who sell the servers? The best brands that are giving the servers are Dell, HP, okay. And there are a few more brands which are very, very popular. They will provide the servers. So first of all, you have to raise a request to the vendors asking for the servers. Now these vendors will provide you the physical servers to you. So they will provide the physical servers to you. And after providing the physical servers, it is your responsibility to install the required operating system. It is your responsibility to install the required operating system. Either it might be Windows or Linux, any operating system. It is completely the employee's responsibility. Why? Because this data center is managed by this company. So the administrators has to install the required operating system. Once they have installed this, then what is going to happen? Who has to maintain the servers? Obviously, the employees has to maintain the servers. Maintenance. So maintenance in the sense, every time they have to monitor the server, every time they have to monitor the servers. So monitoring in the sense, what they will monitor, how CPU is working, how RAM is working, functionalities, data, how hard disk is, or else storage is functioning. Okay. Everything the employees has to take care. And they have to look after the applications also, whether the application is performing good or not. If the application is deployed into the server, how resources are responding. Whenever I deploy an application, for example, I am having this HDFC bank application, ICICI bank application, or else any another application. When I deployed onto the servers, how my resources are responding, whether this application is consuming high RAM or high CPU. So they have to monitor that. Once the monitoring is done, suddenly sometimes what is going to happen inside the server, there might be some changes that the administrators can see. So what are the changes? Sometimes the RAM has to be exchanged, or else the RAM has to be changed. Okay, who has to manage? Obviously, the employees of this company has to raise a request to the team manager. There are so many things that will be happening in the backend. There will be a data center team. So they have to raise a request to the data center team asking for that checking of the RAM, and after checking that, they have to replace the RAM. So there will be a multiple mail flows will be there. So who has to manage this? Obviously, the employees manually has to manage all the resources. Once the management of the resources is done, then one more thing they have to keep in mind is network configuration. Network configuration. Who has to monitor the network configuration? Obviously, the employees has to monitor the network configuration, whether the networking cables are properly configured, or the connectivity between one server and the another server, the connectivity between the server and the client are good or not. So these are all the things that has to be taken care manually by the employees only, manually by the employees of that company only. So more manual efforts.
Sorry, sir, to interrupt in the middle. Employees of the company means, for example, some companies are using AWS
No, no, no.
cloud.
I'm not talking about the AWS cloud. I am completely into on-premises only.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not going into the cloud right now. So you need to understand this. We are not into the cloud right now. Still, we are discussing about before cloud, how companies used to be.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, got it. Mm.
So I am talking about before cloud, how company used to be, how employees has to respond to the server problems. So every time manually, the employees has to respond if there is any problem with the server, if there is any problem with the RAM or else any resources, if there is any problem with the networking. So the employees or the data center people, or else there will be separately, there will be a data center employees will be there who has to work in the data center. They have to respond for the server failures. If there is any server is failed, what is the problem behind server failures? So who has to respond? Obviously, the employees of the data center. So which data center is this? Data center belongs to the company only. So obviously, those are the employees of the same company. So this company has to pay for them, and this company has to pay for the servers. So now this burden will be there on the companies. Every time this burden will be there on the companies and the networking. So when you see here, this application is available available on the internet. When the application is available on the internet, when the application is exposed to the internet, that application is purely unsafe. Why? Because it is into the public domain. Anybody can access that. So here what we need to do, we need to create some security. So whatever the requests that are coming from the internet, so each and every request will not be regarding the application. There will be some malicious requests will be coming. So we need to stop those requests. For that, we need to equip some of the components like security measures. We need to take some security components like firewalls. So these are the things that we need to install, that the employees need to install on the data center. So this much efforts you have to keep whenever you want to create a server, or else whenever you want to make the application available for the users. So whenever you are making all these things, and one more thing here is the next thing, whenever you are seeing here these firewalls, so this is completely the physical. What you are doing, you have to maintain the server, you have to maintain the network, you have to maintain the storage, you have to install the operating system manually. You have to do this. All the workers, whoever are the employees are there, they have to work on this. Administrators have to work on this OS, and after that you need to maintain the middleware. As of one of our trainee, whoever is attending here, Narayana, he said that he is working for the middleware. So we have to maintain the middleware, like creating the web services, Tomcat, or else when you go for Windows, it is called as IIS service, Internet Information Service, or else Nginx service. We need to create the proxies. So this is the main responsibility of the middleware engineers. And then we have to overview, or else we have to see the runtime. So that responsibility will be coming to the developers. Runtime is nothing but whenever I am creating an application, the application has to be deployed or else created by some of the language. So runtime is nothing but on which language basis you are creating the application. Whether you are creating on Python, then that is a Python runtime. If you are creating on Java, it's a Java runtime application. If you are creating with Node.js, it's a Node.js runtime application. So here, each and everything has to be maintained. If at all, if you are going with the on-premises, each and everything has to be maintained by the employees, maintained by the company only. So that is called as on-premises. Here you can see why I am saying this, because if you understand the service model, see here, networking. See here, what is blue color? You manage. Networking has to be managed by the employees, by the company. Storage has to be maintained by the company. Servers has to be maintained by the company. Virtualization, which type of virtualization? I will discuss about this virtualization in the upcoming topic. Virtualization has to be maintained by the company. OS, middleware, runtime, data, and application. Everything has to be maintained and managed by the company. If you have to maintain and manage all these things, for networking, we need to have a separate team called as networking team, network administration team, who is very good at networking, who knows CCNA concept, CCNP concept, who knows about the protocols, IP addresses, and all the things. They will come under the networking team. And if you see the storage team, we need to have a storage admins. So who will take the backup of our data and everything. They will manage the storages. And when you come to the servers, we will have the server administrators or system administrators, we can call them. So these system administrators will be they have to maintain the servers, they have to manage the servers, and they have to create the roles like in Windows. If you take the Windows, they have to maintain Active Directory. Like that, there are so many different types of services where they have to manage. And virtualization, we have a separate team called as VMware team. Okay, virtualization team. Some of the companies will have this. They will have a separate teams for each and everything. And if you see OS, it's normal. OS installation can be easily done by any person. But while coming to the middleware, again, we need to have a middleware team. For runtime, those are nothing but the developers and the data, DB administrators, and application. For the application accessibility also, we need to have the developers. So this is how the infrastructure, or else this is how the architecture of the on-premises. So wherever you are seeing here, for each and every step, you need a set of team. So, but when you come to the cloud computing, when the cloud computing was introduced, we have, or else the companies has getting less burden. So we don't need this, whatever the, see here, other managers in the sense your cloud, whatever the cloud services that you are assigning to the company. For example, if there is AWS, if you go to Azure, if you go to GCP, so here there is a service called as IIS in the sense infrastructure as a service. So what cloud will do, the cloud will look after these 4 steps, which means networking, storage, servers, and virtualization. So you have to only take care of this OS, middleware, runtime, and data and application. That is called as an infrastructure as a service. But we will go in depth into this. But as of now, did you understand what is meant by on-premises? Any questions? Any questions, guys, regarding the on-premises? Okay. Can I go further? Okay, fine. Now, when we coming back to this, these are all the problems. Sometimes you have to look them as a problem. Sometimes there are the advantages. Sometimes there are the disadvantages. Sometimes there are the advantages. Now, if you don't want the servers to be working, you can see, there are some advantages with them, but I don't want to talk with this on premises. But when you're coming to the AWS or else cloud computing, especially, I'm not talking about only AWS, I'm talking about the cloud itself. So cloud means we will be having multiple clouds like AWS, Azure, GCP, IBM, Oracle, VMware. These are all comes under the cloud only. So now we need to understand the situation. So what I am telling, when you go to the cloud, when the cloud was introduced, so the hurdles or else the limitations what you are having with the on-premises, the entire limitation has overcome with the cloud computing by taking some service models into the picture. By taking some service models into the picture, what has made the cloud computing reduce the burden on the companies. What are the services? The first one is IaaS, PaaS, SaaS. These are the basic three types of service models which you are having. Among this, first one is IaaS. So here, what I have to say, if I have to give an example in the on-premises environment, so if you want to construct a home, try to understand this. This is just an example. If you want to construct a home, now if you personally involve into the construction, which means that you have to find the builder, you have to get all the required resources like sand, cement, bricks. You have to go to each and every merchandise and you have to bring all of them, and you have to sit near the construction site, and you have to create or else construct your own home. You have to say to the builder each and every time, you have to say to the builder, like, I want to construct my home like this. So please do like this, or else every time you have to say, you have to be there. So at the construction time, you have to be there until you construct your total home. So there will be high risk. Why? Because each and every day you have to visit the construction site, and you have to look after all the money and everything. You have to look into this. So in the on-premises also, what I want to say, the company has to involve in each and every step, or else the employees has to involve in each and every step. When you want to purchase a server, when you want to create network, when you want to create storage, if you want to install the operating system, everywhere the employees will be there. Now, when you come to the cloud, when the cloud came into the picture, what happened here? Automatically, the scenario, the phase of the IT world has changed. What it changed? The thing here is, now IaaS, first service, the cloud services, among the services of the cloud, the first service which is provided by cloud is IaaS. Now here IaaS means try to interlink this with an example. Now the same scenario, you want to construct a home, but this time what has happened? You have given the entire responsibility to a constructor or else a contractor. Okay, you hired a contractor and you said that you gave a plan like this, my house has to be built. You gave a plan and you pay for him. You have paid for them some 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs, whatever he requested you, some 50 lakhs, whatever he requested you have paid him. So now it is whose responsibility? It is not your responsibility to check after the bricks, to check after the sand, to check after the cement, and to check after how it is happening. Everything has to be happen with regarding to the plan. Now it is the complete responsibility of the constructor or contractor. So contractor has to take the complete responsibility. In the same manner, if you come here, whatever the IaaS services, these are the services that are provided by the cloud service providers. Either it might be AWS, Azure, or GCP, any cloud provider. First one, IaaS means we don't take care of the underlying hardware. Wherever the applications are installing, that hardware, we are not going to take care of them. So who will take care? The complete underlying hardware will be taken care by your AWS or Azure or GCP. So that service provider, cloud service provider will take care. So about the networking, storage, servers, and virtualization. What is virtualization? We will discuss. But you don't have to worry about this. Now, what you need to worry, and after construction of your home, whenever you are joining to the home, or else when you are entering into the home, so if you ask the contractor, where is my TV? Where is my 50 inches TV? Where is my washing machine? Where is my fridge? Where is my AC, air condition? So I don't find any fish tank over here. So if you ask him, what he will say? It is not the responsibility of the contractor. Simply he says that, buddy, it is not my responsibility to create or whatever the services you want. If you want TV, you have to purchase. My responsibility is to construct a home. So here also, the responsibility of the cloud service provider is to construct or else build a infrastructure for you, build a physical servers for you. Now, it is not their responsibility to deploy the application, to create the application, to create the dependencies of the application. Dependencies in the sense, I want to create an application. So first of all, what I have to take care of, I need to select which operating system, on which operating system I need to create the application. OS has to be taken care by you. And the next one is, you need to take care of the dependencies like runtime. So on which service, on which web service I need to host the application, on which website, on like IaaS or Tomcat, on which web service I need to host, on which database I need to create it. So that has to be taken care by you. And the next one is runtime. Runtime in the sense on through which language I need to develop the application. It has to be taken care by you, not the AWS. Our AWS will not take care of that. And the next one is data, how data should be stored, how data should be manipulated, how data should be stored. And each and everything has to be managed by you only. And the next one is application. Okay, so if you want to enhance any features in the application, it is your responsibility to change the application. AWS will not interact into that. So as like the contractor will not interact into each and everything of you, in the same manner, here also your cloud service provider will not interact with any of these steps. So what are their responsibility? Their responsibility is to check after the whatever the platform underlying hardware is there. It is their responsibility to look into the underlying hardware. Whenever you are selecting the IaaS type of services, whenever you are selecting the IaaS type of services, like your EC2 instances, creating the EC2 instances, deploying the application, everything will comes under the IaaS. And when you go to the PaaS in the sense platform as a service. Okay, if I have to consider with an example, it is like what I can say, it is like a service apartment. So in the service apartment, you will have all the services. Okay, so you will have TV, you will be having some fridge, you will be having some whatever the applications, appliances that you want, you will have each and every appliances. And it is your responsibility to use or not to use those applications, how to use those applications, and customize your things, whatever you want, you can customize them with the help of those applications. In the same manner, here also, what I can say, when you see the PaaS, platform as a service, here cloud will have the complete grip over networking up to virtual OS, middleware, and runtime. On which app or else what is the runtime that I have to use will be decided by the cloud only. You need to take care of only two things. One is your application, how application is getting developed. What is the front end? Is there any enhancements that I have to do? Only you have to take care of the application and the data. So you cannot take in, any another things like middleware, runtime. It is not your responsibility. It is the complete responsibility of the cloud. Okay. And the next one is when you come to the software as a service. Up to here, so if you see from on-premises to the software as a service, you need to understand whenever we are changing the services, automatically the customizable property. So the application customization is getting slowly reduced. We are unable to customize the application. If you see here, when you go for on-premises, it is your complete responsibility of selecting from the underlying hardware to the application. So if you want to customize anything, it's completely in your hand, totally in your hand. So it is your responsibility to change the servers, or else it is your responsibility how you have to create your application. So the entire properties of customization will be in your hands. But when you come to the IaaS, we have a less, when you compare to the on-premises to IaaS, we have some less resources. So we cannot customize our servers. We don't know what are the servers, what are the physical servers that we are using, but that will not be a very big problem. But here the problem is when you come to the PaaS, slowly what is happening, the customization property of the application is getting reduced. And when you're coming to the SaaS, software as a service, the entire properties, the entire application will be in the hands of the cloud service providers only. And you cannot change that, you cannot enhance the application, you cannot change the application if you want. So each and every property, if you want that, suppose if I take Zoom, you are logging into Zoom, right? So I don't want my menu bar should be on the blue screen, like blue color window should not be there. I want some red color window. It is not possible. Why? Because you are just purchasing the application and using the application. So same in the same manner, SAS also in the same manner only. So you have to just purchase the application, or else you have to just use the service. If you want any modification, you will not do that. So only the creator, whoever has created that, like it might be another vendor, or else it might be your cloud service provider. It is totally his responsibility to change the interface, or else to change anything, to change the enhancements. Everything has to be done by the third party person. It is not your responsibility. You cannot do that also. Simply you have to purchase the application, take the application, and if you want to use that for your industry purpose, for your company purpose, you have to use it. The best example is Microsoft Office 365. So everybody are using Office 365, but there is a problem with the Office 365 is that you cannot enhance, or else you cannot change its properties. Who has to change it? Obviously, Microsoft has to change the properties, change the infrastructure, change the user interface. It is totally the Microsoft responsibility. It is not your responsibility. So that is a SaaS service, software as a service. So this is the reason. So why we are in the on-premises and why we are migrating towards the cloud. When you go to the cloud, slowly, whenever you are increasing the services like from IaaS to SaaS, your burden of the application to create the application and everything will be reduced. So from here, from SaaS to SaaS, these are all entire services that belongs to your cloud. The on-premises will be completely belongs to your company. So now, why majority number of the companies are moving to the cloud? The only reason here is, so when you see the on-premises, you have to purchase the servers, you have to purchase the storage, you have to purchasing the networking equipment, everything you have to purchase. But when you come to the AWS, I will not say that you don't need to purchase it, but the cost will be less. When you come to the on-premises, every time is one time payable. At the time of purchasing only, at the time of creating the servers only, you have to pay the entire amount. Okay. So when you are purchasing the storage, you have to pay the entire amount, like sandboxes or else hard disk, SSDs, you have to pay the entire amount. When you are going for the networking, for purchasing the firewalls, for purchasing the routers, switches, and cables, internet cables, everything you have to purchase one time. So this is a total burden on the companies. To overcome this scenario, we are going for the cloud. When we are going into the cloud, we don't have to purchase them. We have to take the servers for the rental purpose. So we will take the servers on the rental purpose and we will pay the rent. But the rent is very less when you compare to the on-premises. If you want to purchase a server, you have to pay at a time 3 lakhs. For example, I am saying at a time 3 lakhs you have to pay. But when you come to the same on the servers of the AWS, you have to pay some 8 rupees per hour, 10 rupees per hour, 16 rupees per hour. That depends upon the server capacity you are choosing. That depends upon the resources that you are choosing. So here, whatever you are purchasing or else whatever you are taking on the cloud environment, so you don't need to purchase each and everything. You don't need to worry about the underlying hardware. If there is any failure in the underlying hardware also, it is the responsibility of the cloud who has to manage that. It is not your responsibility. But when you come to the on-premises, it is the total responsibility of the company. So company has to bear the entire what I can say entire expenses. Okay, so this is the main problem with the on-premises, and those problems will be overcome with the IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. Those problems will be overcome with your cloud computing. So in cloud computing, what you are going to learn? So in cloud computing, we will be having different types of services. One is VPC. First one is EC2 instances. VPC is IAM. So what you are going to learn here? You are going to learn about VPC, okay, virtual private cloud. And the next one is EC2 instances, elastic cloud computing. And the next one is I can go with the Route 53, global accelerator, CloudFront, IAM, S3, and then what I can say, CloudWatch and Cloud Formation. Okay, these are the things you will be learning. And finally, I can go for data migration if possible. Okay, this is a star mark if possible. Okay, so only these concepts, if you see here inside this concept, we will be having so many concepts. If you go for the VPC, what is VPC? We'll come to know about that. But in VPC, we'll be learning VPC peering, VPC NAT gateway, VPC endpoints, VPC VPN, VPC transit gateway, VPC, what I can say, security groups, or else I can go with the firewalls. That's all you will learn in the VPC. When you come to the EC2 instances, you will be learning about the instances, instance types, launch templates, AMIs, and then you will be going with the EBS volumes, load balancers. Among the load balancer, you will be learning about network load balancer, application load balancer, auto scaling groups. In Route, you will be learning about Route 53, global accelerator, CloudFront. And when you come to the IAM, user creation, role creation, and role access, switch role. Switch role is one of the things that you are going to learn. And these are about the IAM. When you come to the S3 buckets, in S3, you will be learn about what is meant by S3, EFS, FSX, okay, FSX. And here in the IAM, you will be learning about SSO also, AWS SSO. Now it is called as Identity Center, FSX, and storage gateway. These are the topics that we will be covering. And later on, you are going to learn about RDS, DynamoDB, or else I will call it as a NoSQL. Okay, an intro to Redshift. Okay, these are the things you will be learning. And after that, you will learn about CloudWatch. In CloudWatch, you will learn about metrics, what is meant by metrics, and then alarms. And you will be learning about logs, monitoring the logs, and then you will be going with the what I can say, events. And the next one is cloud formation. Cloud formation is an IAC. IAC means infrastructure as a code. You will be writing a code, and whatever we are creating, all this you will be creating with the code only. We will be creating all these things with manually by logging into the console. Finally, what we are going to do, we are going to learn IAC. IAC in the sense infrastructure as a code, and we will have an intro to Terraform. These are the concepts that we are covering. Okay. You can leave it. And if possible, I will go with Elastic Beanstalk. Okay. And then ECR, Elastic Container Registry, and what I can say EKS, Elastic Kubernetes. This is not there. Elastic Kubernetes Service, you will learn in the Kubernetes. So this is the total content which you are learning in the AWS. This is the total content which you are learning in the content. Okay. So whatever I said, that will be there, and remaining things will not be there. Okay. Any further questions?
So yeah, I have one question. So how relevant is this course for backend developer?
I know I will.
So I'm into development of the
Mhm.
services,
Mhm.
Spring Boot, microservices framework
Mhm.
I'm using.
Mhm.
So how good is this for me?
So you are a backend developer. So if you are working on the Kubernetes, microservices will be completely in the Kubernetes, right? So whatever you
Yeah, so
develop,
I'm not into deployment part, DevOps part.
it's completely
I'm mainly a
administration perspective. Whatever we are providing the training here, it will be completely the administration perspective. And as a backend developer, or else as a developer, you might be saying that I am a backend developer, or else there are some developers who are also attending this training session. I will suggest them, if you are a developer, this will help you to understand what happens in the backend. Okay. So only about the deployments, how to, whatever the application that you have created, how it will be deployed in the backend, how it will be deployed on the servers. So as a developer, you will develop the application, but how this will be deployed? Before deploying that, what are the different services that are available in the cloud? So now majority number of the companies are requesting the candidates to have a knowledge on the cloud. The main reason is that they need to understand the infrastructure. So when you go to next upcoming 5 years, or else upcoming 3 to 5 years, so each and every company want to have a DevOps engineers. Majorly, they want to give a share to the DevOps engineers who will have a brief understanding about the development and as well as the administration part. So if you learn this, you will clearly understand about the administration of the cloud computing, cloud technologies. Okay. So as a developer, how it will be helpful for you? So if you are a developer, how to create the S3 buckets, all the logs, whatever the application related logs will be stored in the S3 buckets. If you want to store huge amount of data, how we can store huge amount of data in the S3 bucket? What are the permissions that we can provide for the S3 buckets? And how to create a, what I can say, access control on for the users. And for the developer perspective, notification services will be helpful for you. How to monitor the applications will be helpful for you. So I cannot say that you might be a developer or you might be an administrator, but this course is completely will make you understand about the what is AWS, what are the different services that are provided on the AWS, and how to work with AWS. Especially I have to say you that it will be helpful for you to understand how we can work with the AWS. So this is what I can say about that. Okay. I hope you got your point. Any questions?
Yeah, I have, sir.
Yeah. So any DevOps tool that we are going to cover here? No.
No, it is not into DevOps. It will be purely AWS only. DevOps tools in the
Good.
sense, yeah, one of the tool I can give an introduction, that is Terraform. So it's a tool which will be helpful for you to develop the complete infrastructure with the code. Okay, I can go with the Terraform. It's one of the DevOps tool, or else you can go with. Actually, we have another sessions for DevOps. Okay, like where you can learn Git and what I can say Ansible, Docker. We are having a separate category for that. Okay.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what will be the duration of this course?
I will let you know about that. First of all, I just want to clear out if any questions from any other persons. I will clear out all your doubts about the course duration.
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, go on.
So what about migration from on-premises to cloud?
That one thing which I have to check out this, why? Because to migrate, I need to have a huge, like I need to have a VMware server. I'm looking into that. Definitely, if at all possible, I will definitely tell you about the data migration. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Fine.
Yes.
So is this will be enough to crack the fundamental certification of AWS?
You can crack the associate level of certification. Fundamental in the sense practitioner level, right? So in
Yes,
AWS, we
yes.
are having 4 types of certifications. One is practitioner, associate, professional, and specialization. So by completing this course, you can crack the associate architect level of certification. Okay,
Like,
not
only theoretical class will be there, or any
No.
practice assignments?
only practical classes will be there, no theoretical classes.
Like, we'll work on our real-time projects.
Real-time projects in the sense here we will be creating the services. I will not tell only in a single project. I will tell you the entire services. Okay, if you understand the entire services, you can use those services on your projects. For example, some projects may not require VPC peering. Some projects may not require network load balancers. Some projects may not require application load balancer. But what we are doing, we are covering each and everything fundamentally. Okay. We are learning the core of your AWS, not by taking a single project into the into the frame. Okay.
My last query, like, I'm a fresher. I have 1 year, 5 months experience in IT. I'm working as application support engineer. So I want to navigate to AWS.
Okay.
So you'll guide any how to navigate to that roles and resume buildings.
Resume building, I will support you on resumes. How to I will provide you some of the resumes that will be helpful for you. And one more thing, I want to suggest you that if you are, I think you are not a fresher as per my perspective. You have a 1 year of experience, but the thing here is only completing AWS will not help you. So, so what I want to say, of course, my course is only about AWS. I don't need to tell you about this, but as a what I can say, as a engineer, as a DevOps engineer, first of all, you need to clear out the DevOps topics also. So companies, whatever the companies you are sending your resumes, the companies are not requesting the candidates who will be having only AWS knowledge, only cloud knowledge. Especially, I have to say this, not only AWS. So you need to have any another cloud platform also, if possible. I am not saying you right away you have to learn all the concept. The thing here is step by step. Okay, first of all, you need to have a brief understanding about the cloud, and after learning cloud, you need to understand the DevOps. So DevOps is interlinked with the cloud computing only. So without learning cloud, if you jump into the DevOps, why? Because majorly companies will be asking the candidates to have the knowledge on Jenkins, to have the knowledge on what I can say Docker, Ansible. Nowadays, majority number of the companies are requesting the candidates to have a configuration management tool knowledge. That is nothing but your Ansible. So if you want to learn these things, you need to have a brief understanding about the cloud computing. So first of all, you need to complete this topic, AWS, and after completing AWS or Azure, any of your comfort, after completing this topic, then you have to dive back into the DevOps. Once you complete the DevOps topic, then you can apply for the companies. As you are having an experience of 1.5 years. So my suggestion is that take a 6 months of time, take another 6 months, like you will get 2 years of experience in the IT industry, and as well as within this 6 months, you can easily complete the AWS and DevOps courses. Once you have completed those courses, then what you can do, you can apply for the another jobs. You are having 2 years of experience, and as well as you are having the AWS and DevOps knowledge, then it is very easy to crack an interview. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So any another questions? So when we coming back to the next one, I hope that I have given you the syllabus, and the next one is I just want to tell you about the course.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. What about multi-factor authentication and Active Directory service in AWS?
That is what I said you, SSO. Single sign-on, which will be integrated with the Active Directory. So on-premises Active Directory and AWS managed Active Directory, 2 services I will show you.
Okay.
Multi-factor authentication, it's very 5 minutes of concept. Okay. Okay. So it is not that much what I can say stressable concept. It will be coming in the IAM only. So just we have to enable MFA, multi-factor authentication, and we need to provide some through Google Authenticator. We will be providing some permissions to our account. So it is pretty easy if we don't go with the multi-factor authentication. But Active Directory, yes, SSO single sign-on will be there with the help of Active Directory configuration.
Okay.
Fine. And when we coming back to the next one about the course, and one more thing that I want to say you here is your session will not be from 3 to 4. It will be from 4 to 5. I will tell you the date. Tomorrow also your session will be at 3 o'clock. And I will explain you from which time you will have the change of timings. Actually, your class will be starting at 4 o'clock and ending at 5 o'clock. 1 hour of session will be there every day, Monday to Friday. The course will be from Monday to Friday. Saturday, Sunday will be the offs. And the next one is course timing will be 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. And the next one, what I want to say here, duration will be 45 working days, maximum of 45 working days. We can complete within 40 days, but yes, 45 working days will be taking time. And what I can say, what else? And you can crack the associate level certification with the help by completing the course. You can crack the associate level certification, and the fees.
Assignments, regarding the assignments or any
Assignments, you see, you are into the IT world. You are trainees. I am not going to give you any homework. The first thing is, whenever I say you the practical, it is the only it is your assignment. Okay, why? Because you have to work it out. You yourself has to practice. You have to get a AWS account and you have to work on the each and every service. That is your assignment only. Okay. Do you understand this?
yes.
Likewise, any another instructor, as well as any another trainer, I am not going to provide any homeworks for you. You are not kids. You will understand the concept. But yes, whenever I say you some concept, it is your responsibility to enhance that concept. Why can't I do like this? So if I say you about any one of the service, why can't I do like this? If you try to gather a new topic, or else if you try to experiment on that, you will get more knowledge. You have to work on that. Okay. And the final one is the fees structure, or else the fees will be 5,000 for your entire course. For the 45 days of course, the fees will be 5,000. And one more thing here is, whenever DURGASOFT calls you, please attend the call. So that is the only request from my end. If you are interested, you can say them, I am interested, and I will pay you on some of the time. And if you have no interest, say them, I don't have interest. Okay. So at least if you say this the second time, they will not call you. Okay. So if you don't pick up the call and if you hesitate to answer the call, then they will continuously call you for 3 to 4 days. And it's a time waste for you and as well as time waste for them also. Why? Because every time when they call you, it's somewhere like time waste. And if you are very interested to join, you can directly enroll into the program. So I will confidently say that you can easily crack the AWS interview questions by attempting this program. Okay, by learning the concept, I can easily say that. So I can give you the assurance that you can clear out the AWS interview questions. I am talking only about the AWS. I am not into the DevOps. So I'm talking only about the AWS perspective. AWS questions, you can easily crack it out. Okay. Hold on. Any other questions?
Hello. Are you conducting any labs?
Sorry?
Are you conducting any labs?
Labs in the sense?
Like
Online
practice?
Yeah, every day you will be having the practicals. There won't be any theoretical concept. Okay. Yeah, I will show you practically how to create the resources. I will show you the lab scenario only. Okay. Yeah. If you have any doubts, is there any Telugu students? I don't know. Actually, if you have any doubts regarding the labs and all the thing, I have a channel. I don't want to explicit it. I don't want to expose that. But if you have any doubts, it's completely purely into Telugu. Okay. So if you have a doubts about how my trainings will be, how I am going to provide the trainings on AWS, you can go through that particular YouTube channel. It's completely Telugu. Again, I'm repeating this. This is completely a Telugu channel. You can look into the sample VPC configuration, AWS configuration videos. You will clear out all the doubts for you. If you are a Telugu guy, it will be clear out all your doubts, how I will train my students. Okay. And the channel name is, you can go to this. Okay, if you go through this, you will clearly understand my trainings, how I will train the students. Okay, that's it. And further, I don't want to expose my channel. Why? Because it's my personal channel. You can go through some of the videos. There will be AWS videos for you. You can go through that. Okay, so that's it. I want to say you have a nice day, and we'll meet in the next session and discuss more on remaining concepts. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.